Welcome to a compilation of random thoughts, where me and my colleague will be discussing a wide variety of topics and subjects. Listener discretion is advised, as we will be talking about some subjects that might be sensitive to some listeners. I am here with my colleague. Today we will be discussing the death of mystery and why nothing feels scary anymore. Why do you think nothing is really scary anymore?
Well, I feel we're already pretty terrified by the concepts that are around us and that possible events could happen, that we're so scared of the future we're not scared of the present. Nuclear war is a possibility. A nuclear winter in World War III is the biggest current thought right now, that we could end up going to war. Somebody's going to fire the nukes and everything goes to hell.
And those used to be big, horror movie topics in, the 60s, I know, nuclear, the Cold War and all of that.
Yeah, it's also a big topic in video games like Fallout. It's big in those games that we could end up going through a nuclear fallout, but instead of mutated people and mutant cockroaches, it'd mostly just be a big pile of death. And it affects our concept of what's scary to us, as we see it more like a video game than a real global crisis.
So do you think people's fear tolerance is getting, not as strong? We can take more stuff and it's not as scary anymore?
Yes. We pretty much have come up with multiple different crises in movies, video games, media, and we assume, it's going to be that way, where it looks cool in action film, instead of how actually sad and terrifying it could be. A nuclear winter isn't going to mutate us and keep us alive. It's going to, we're going to go out in an iridescent glow, basically. So we also have a lack of fear in our own demise, as depression and suicide rates spike. Some people actually want to have these events happen as a way that they can cope with their own stuff. And the world is currently challenging everybody. Everybody's challenging someone to strike first, and that's not a great thing to happen.
How do you think this will affect the horror movie industry going forward, or horror video games?
It's going to affect us in the fact that our ideas will adjust and change to fit that. As most horror movies are your simple guy walking around in the woods wearing a mask, or guy in a town murdering people, or just a random guy in your dreams. There's a lot of concepts in horror movies as they change. Terminator, which the original was a horror movie, was one of those things that changed our perception on time travel and technology. Horror movies actually adjusted when Y2K was going on, but never adjusted with 9/11 or Vietnam or World War II. Nobody really made many, aside from, horror documentary stuff about the Holocaust for World War II and the talk of soldiers in Nam being killed. This was even soldiers were killed in 2020, which is screwed up in its own way, as people didn't understand the death of soldiers and all that. Your simple slashers are one thing, but some of the scariest horror movies are those that could actually happen. Jaws and Scream are good examples of that, where Scream, it's a psycho, And even Psycho was one of those movies where it could happen. Some people go crazy all the time. Dahmer, Gacy, Ed Gein, all of them went crazy. Some were in their right mind and they still went to kill somebody. And it's weird. Jaws was just shark attacks happen, and they use that as a way of making a horror movie. Urban legends even get used. The horror movie Urban Legends was one of those situations. Natural disasters are also a good point of horror movie, and the concept of death. Final Destination is one of those good examples. Well, a weird example would be the idea of a town getting murdered because of some accident, like in Dude Bro Party Massacre 3 and some other movies.
Do you think the addition of we now have the internet is affecting this in any way?
Yeah, a lot. Because back then, for the Blair Witch Project, the Blair Witch Project, it was one of those things where everybody believed the Blair Witch was a real thing. They were calling police about it. While with the addition of the internet, movies like Terrifier, which already was pretty believed to be fake, and yeah, people don't really understand that. Some people even believe the Texas Chainsaw Massacre wasn't based on real events, despite the fact it actually was.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, the internet kind of changed that, where people will now search up if a horror movie's real or a location in a horror movie's real. And it's also adjusted our perception of horror as we read into creepypastas and yeah, all of that kind of stuff.
Do you think in the addition of being able to debunk stuff by using the internet, it's also causing more fake stuff? Because now we can generate stuff with AI that looks real. And now at this point you kind of don't know, is this real or is this fake? Like a fake Bigfoot picture? Something like that?
Yes, that will change things as we see pictures of different things. It adjusts our perception of how scary something could be as AI adjusts it and all that. While some people believe bears are friendly, they're not. It depends on if you scare them or not, but some bears will kill you. The movie Cocaine Bear, which was based on a real event, was a good one. Pablo Escobar really was one of the funniest thoughts. It was a movie about a guy who was selling drugs, and he had to throw the drugs out of a plane as it was going down. A bear finds them and snorts the substance. And well, the bear never really attacks someone. That was something the movie changed, and that, again, affects our perception. The bear was killed, and they actually stuffed it, and it's in a location.
Do you have any closing remarks?
Everybody's going to perceive something differently, and people are going to see it in a different light. It doesn't matter what it is, people are going to see it differently on a topic, and they're going to see it as good, bad, or maybe just stick neutral on the topic. This affects even modern topics, and that also changes our perception of fear of the future and why we're not so scared of it. All right.
Thank you for doing this with me.
You're welcome.